Today's episode features Brittany Cooper, a licensed clinical social worker, therapist, investor, real estate Let me stop. Brittany got a lot going on, and y'all should definitely check her out, man. We had a dope conversation. We talked about therapy. Y'all know how I feel about therapy. It's growing on me, but I let the professionals talk about it. This is her profession, so I'm gonna let her get into it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, man. No guru-ish, man. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Well, you said a lot has been going on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me a brief, you know.
I feel like I'm in a different spot, a different place
Really?
where I am transitioning from the constant grind of seeing clients 24/7
Yeah.
to my capacity to see clients 24/7 ain't there.
Really?
So so it's transitioning from clients all day to like a small caseload of clients,
Yeah.
and then like actually running my business and then doing some other stuff.
So you're scaling back? You're scaling down, or you just less hands off?
So I'm
Or less hands
scaling.
on, I mean.
So I'm scaling back in terms of the number of clients I'm seeing,
Right.
so that I can put more energy into building the business.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm hoping to, hire more
Yep.
staff, so that we can see more clients. I had a Middletown location prior to COVID, got shut down with COVID.
Right.
So I'm hoping we're at a point where okay, I need to move forward.
Yeah.
So hopefully revisiting, opening up some other locations, maybe even out of state locations too. One of my therapists actually moved to California. So she's interested, and I'm interested.
Cali.
Right.
That's
So Cali's an option. Florida has always been an option. My parents are there. They talk about it regularly.
the retired life,
Trying
huh?
to get me there, and I'm like, yeah, not yet. And if I retire, I don't know if I'm going to Florida. But
Yeah, right.
I think I'm gonna be one of those people that lives in Connecticut for half the year and then is somewhere else. Wintertime, I'm gone. Maybe November through April.
Yeah.
I won't be here, and then I'll be back.
they call those people snowbirds, I think. That's
And
the term.
Yeah,
That's
probably
you.
because my business is very, very good in Connecticut. It does very well. I feel like I've experienced, the slowdown just like everyone else. So not a complete shutdown. So I'm grateful for that, but a lot of changes through COVID.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back to it, which it flourishes in Connecticut. Cost of living is definitely higher in Connecticut, but I
Right.
get paid a nice amount in Connecticut too compared to other places. So that the business here is gonna fund me being a snowbird and everything else.
Right. Explain the business for the people again. I know.
Yes.
But let's get into it some more so they know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, so I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Connecticut, therapist, counselor, healer, however you want to call it.
Right.
So I have a private practice, minority-based private practice with minority therapists.
Yeah.
So we focus on, the growth for our community. Literally the growth for our community in a way that works for us.
Right.
So, you know my background, but I've worked at a couple of these different agencies. I've done the Wheeler Clinic, the
Yep.
CHRs, the NAFIs. I worked at UConn for 5 years, and I just kind of felt like I was stuck in a box. And that didn't work for us.
Right.
The textbook way of doing therapy doesn't work for Black people or just minorities in general. Doesn't
Right.
work. So, my last job, I was a supervisor there, which was great.
Yeah.
But
Supervisor, that's a big title.
it was great. I
Yeah.
mean, my thought process when I started this was I was going to be a director somewhere and then start private practice. But when I was a supervisor, it wasn't it.
Why though?
I felt stuck. I felt stuck because I was a supervisor of a specific type of therapy model, and
Yeah.
things had to be done that way. And I just didn't like it.
Right.
I disagree with everybody.
Of course. Of course.
So it's funny because I started as a therapist first, so I
Yeah.
knew the model and I was doing it. Then I moved up to a supervisor. And then at that point, I was like, yeah, so now I know firsthand a lot of things that didn't work for us as
Yeah.
a therapist. and I'm not about to keep having these people do that. Like, it don't work. So I was getting pushed from higher up, and that's where the issue
You was causing
came
problems,
in.
bro. You was
Yeah, I always cause problems. But for good cause, though.
Right.
For good cause. So I stuck it out for, it wasn't even probably that long, to be honest. Like a couple months.
Months.
And I was over it. Like, I was over it. I was miserable.
Damn.
I was miserable.
How you know to pull the trigger so fast on those things? Because some people have a hard time. Like, they say what you say. A lot of
Yeah.
people like, I don't want to say you're complaining, but a lot of people
Yeah.
have issues with something that they love or they're doing.
Yeah.
But they never pull that trigger. And you just said a couple months.
Okay, so before I pulled the trigger,
Right.
I definitely felt like, again, I was stuck on this, timeline of progression that I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, coming into it, I thought I was supposed to, be the therapist that's doing the work, then move up to supervisor, then hopefully move up to director, and just kind of move up the chain to do things.
Yeah.
That's how I thought it was supposed to be. But when I tell you I was miserable,
Damn.
it was to the point where my mom and my best friend was like, something's wrong with you.
Wow.
Like, we don't, like, you snappy at us all the time. Like, you got an attitude.
So you needed a
you're just not happy.
therapist.
Yes. You're just not happy. Like, my mother literally was like, this is not my baby girl. Like, I don't
Oh,
know
wow.
who this person is.
Ooh.
Like, but I'm not feeling it. So
Right.
and you know my mom.
I do.
So very blunt, says whatever she chooses to say. It comes from a good place.
Absolutely.
Delivery is probably always not the best. But it's always genuinely from a good place. And she was like, you're going to need to get your shit together. Like, I'm just not feeling this. And I'm not about to keep taking this either.
That's fair.
Like, so, and I feel like, that happens for a lot of people, especially whether it's like your partner or close family members. When we go through stuff, like, we typically take it out on them because
Yeah.
they're the closest.
Yeah.
Not to say that it is okay, but it's a normal thing that happens. So I think it's important for your circle to be able to call you out.
Yeah.
So she was the first person to call me out. Like, she said some stuff.
Like that mamas do, for sure.
Right, she said some stuff like, you need to get it together. So I thought I could fix the problem, right?
Yeah.
So I started working for another therapist part-time, seeing
Yeah.
clients. Because at the time I was a supervisor, I wasn't seeing clients anymore.
Right.
Now, hands down, I love seeing clients. I just can't do it at the capacity I've been doing it
Right.
anymore. So that's why I'm in this like transition, phase. But I started working for another lady, so I was doing part-time with her, and I enjoyed my clients. Like, because
Okay.
that's what I genuinely enjoy the work that I do.
Yes.
So then I was great doing that, but 9 to 5 when I'm being a supervisor,
Right.
it's still not it. Like, it's still not it. I think that's the first time in my life, like, I was using sick days. I've never used sick days at
Right.
work.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I've never called out, like, used sick days or just left early.
You took
or
pride
got
in
there
that?
late.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not your thing. You love what you do. You're not calling
yeah,
out.
that's not me, like, ever. So I started doing that. So I was like, oh, okay, like, this not gonna work.
That's a sign. That's a sign.
So then my best friend came in and he was like, well, why don't you just start a practice now? I never thought about it because, again, growing up, typically people who had their private practice were the older,
Right.
older folks who had a private practice. So again, I thought I was supposed to.
Follow the
Yeah.
steps, the model.
So
Yeah.
then when he said that, I was like, okay.
Right.
Like, what's keeping me
Right.
from doing that? I already got my license, so technically I can do it.
It's true.
So what's the holdup?
Right.
So then I think, the fear sets in of like, well, I don't know how to fucking start my own private practice.
Right.
Like,
You never did it.
I don't, right. Like, I don't know. Mind you, I'm working for this lady who's doing her own. So any job that I've had, I always like to talk to the top person. I like to know.
Yeah.
I like to know. I like to see what they're doing, just because at some point I see myself being that way. Like,
Yes.
it's always been that, way for me. So, like, I talked to her a lot about it, and she hit me with like an ultimatum. And it was like, well, you can leave your job and come work for me full time. But if you want to do your own thing, you can't stay here
Got
either.
to go.
So that was another reality check. I was like, dang, like, it's just, again, I think it was, the fear of the unknown. So trying to like take these little steps.
Right. Tiptoeing.
But tiptoeing around it. But like when she hit me with that too, I was like, so I'm not about to go from being miserable at one place to being miserable at another place.
Right.
Mind you, I'm doing something that I love, but she's going to give me more flexibility, but it's still not the same thing.
Right.
So at that point I was like, okay, so we're going to need to figure this out.
Right.
We're just going to need to figure this out.
The best,
So-
the best lesson right there.
Literally. So that is the first time I think I just truly like took a leap of faith and just was like, I gave my job like a 2-month notice.
Yeah.
And I gave him a 2-month notice because I cared about my
I was
staff.
gonna say that's nice.
I cared about my staff. I wanted to be in the process of like hiring the new supervisor because I knew what my team needed.
Yeah.
When I became the supervisor, if it wasn't for like my supervisor before that, which left, she moved to Texas, which slid me into the spot. Like
Right.
when I got to that job, she knew off rip, like I wanted to be a supervisor. I'm not about to be a therapist forever.
Yeah.
I've been doing this. So she was training me from day one. So she had it kind of set up that she was like, so it slid me in there.
Yeah.
So like if it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have done being a supervisor anyway, because like honestly, I got handed like a shit show
Right.
that I had to
Damn.
figure out.
But you
So
still-
I think
yeah.
that made it worse in terms of me being miserable too. Cause like I was in meetings all day, and then I was starting trouble and not following through
Right.
and stuff because I didn't agree with it. And I would tell them why. Like, were you therapists before? Were you out there doing this?
Right.
Like that don't add up.
That don't add
Like,
up,
that's
right,
not it.
right.
Like I'm not about to tell them to do that. I know firsthand that doesn't work. So I think that added to that. So like at that point when I made the decision to, leave, it was 2 months because I just wanted to make sure my team was good.
Yeah. Do you
before I
recommend
left.
that though? 2 months? Like if someone's getting ready to do what you're about to do, like,
No.
but they're going through it. Do you recommend that still?
No, I think everybody has to think about the timeline that works for them.
Yeah.
Because now, if I was like knowing what I know now,
Right.
I wouldn't have made it 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, because realistically, like they're gonna replace you,
Mm-hmm.
like easy. So, and I can't say like at that point the loyalty was to the job. It wasn't like I really cared about my team.
Yes.
Like they were people that were my colleagues that we worked together at one point, and then they trusted me when I became their supervisor. So I didn't want to leave them hanging like that. So.
Right.
For me personally, it was more loyalty to them. The crazy thing about it is after I left, like a couple left after.
Oh, you started a trend. Look at you, man,
It
causing
just kind of
trouble.
like rippled effect
Right,
kind
right.
of thing. So yeah, no, I think everyone has to pick their own timeline. I don't advise anyone to stay at a place longer than they need to.
Right.
So, within that 2-month timeline, like I was making sure my team was good, but on the back end, I was like, okay, what do I need to do to start this business? I was
Yeah.
looking at office spaces. I was making sure I was paneled with insurances, like had a website, had this and that. I had to have some stuff going so
Yeah.
that like my first full day, which was like October 1st, 2016, like it was it. Like this is go time. Like,
They call that shock therapy, what you went through. Like literally, like
yeah.
you gotta figure it out right now. You just on the fly, like you just in the ocean, and you trying to stay afloat.
Right. So realistically though, my mom was like, worst case scenario, you can get a job anywhere.
True.
She was like, you have a lot of experience. You can get a job anywhere.
Right.
She literally was like, the only reason this won't work is if you sit on your ass.
Mm.
So if you want this to work, you better figure out how to make it work.
Moving, right.
I'm like, all right. So I know I took some stuff from every other job that I was at, in terms of what's the type of practice that I want to build. Took some stuff that I learned from the lady that I was working with. And then it was kind of like, all right, Britt, figure it out.
You sure
Figure it
did
out.
though. You sure
did.
did. Why did you choose to like join this profession?
It sounds cliche, but I like helping people. Like,
Oh,
it sounds
we need more
so,
than that.
like, so realistically, like when I'm doing therapy with my clients, it does not feel like a job
Really?
for me at all.
Yeah.
I can talk to people all day long, which is interesting because I don't
I
like
wanna
this.
talk- right. I was gonna say. Oh wow. You
But
hear that?
talking to someone else to help them through whatever they're going through, it's very much natural to me.
Okay.
I've kind of been raised that way. Always kind of put in that light, like growing up. Just
Yeah.
always been that. So it comes easy. It was my second profession though. This is not what I wanted to do.
What did you want to do?
Forensics. So
Wow. That's a whole nother.
right, whole nother lane.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to school for forensics. I wanted to be like some forensic scientist. I wanted to do crime scene type of stuff,
Okay.
like all that good stuff. So that's what I wanted to go to school for. And
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to a school in Boston for that.
Okay.
Got into the school, but financial aid, it wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't adding up. No, it
It
wasn't making
wasn't
sense.
added up.
Yeah.
So UConn was my safe school, but they gave me the most financial aid. So I went to UConn,
Right.
but UConn didn't have that degree.
Mm.
They didn't necessarily have a social work degree either. Now they have a bachelor's in social work there, but they didn't have it at the time but they had sociology, psychology.
Yeah.
I can make it work. I can still get to my end goal.
Yeah.
Like I kind of knew that. And I think that's different for me than other people who may go to school. Like I feel like I knew the progression I needed to take at school.
Yeah.
I do well in school. Do I like school? No. But I knew I needed to get the degree,
Right.
get the master's to get here. So I was
Yes.
very tunnel vision on that. So yeah, I got to UConn and I was like, I had to go with the second option.
Yeah.
Do I still love forensics? Yes.
So that's-
I watch crime scene shit all day, every day. Like Dateline, First 48,
Yeah.
documentaries on psychos. Like, like I even started a second master's
Really?
after the master's in social work.
How did
I started a second master's for a master's in forensic psychology because my goal was to get that and then be able to go into jails and stuff and do those forensic assessments with the serial killers and stuff like that.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know. So I tried to get back to that.
Right.
Working at the time did not allow for that.
I'm sure.
So like literally I had 3 classes left and did not finish it. That kind of,
Is that messing with you a little bit?
not anymore.
So it's over. Like you're done with that
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah.
There's a possibility. It seems like it's in there a little bit.
It's still there.
It's still there. You still watch the shows. You sound real passionate about it.
It's the crazy people. They intrigue me. I don't know why.
Wow, that's why you're a
Like,
therapist.
right. See?
Yo, it's all making sense now.
So like I think I'm also just intrigued by people's thoughts.
Yeah.
The way people think about things, the way that, what we go through in life just affects different things that we do.
Yeah.
Like always been. I think what pushed it more is when I had one of my most traumatic losses in college. And then that's when the first time I went to see a therapist.
Right.
And I was an asshole to that lady. I apologized to her after. But
Why
that
were
was
you-
a reality check for me.
Yeah. Why do you feel you were an asshole to her though?
So there was no real reason for me to be.
Oh man.
It was not really.
You an asshole, yo. You don't got no reason?
No,
Damn.
honestly, thinking back on it, no. So I'm gonna own that.
Right.
No.
Okay.
So at the time, I had lost one of my closest college friends, and that's the first time I had a loss that significant.
Yeah.
And I declined very bad. So that was junior year of college. Declined, literally failed 2 classes. Had to take them
man.
over. During the summer, checked out.
Yeah.
And my dad and my mom noticed, and my dad was like, "Yo, you need to go talk to someone." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna talk to no one." And he was like, "You're gonna go talk to
right.
someone." So I remember he took me and my friend to go talk to a lady. She happened to be a white lady.
Okay. I was gonna ask that too.
She happened to be a white lady. So I remember going, and I was a complete asshole to her. I was real yes or no, not really giving anything. My dad was like, "You didn't really try," and I was like, "How's she gonna tell me what I'm going through?"
Right.
And his response was like, "Well, how are you supposed to be a therapist if
you
you can't even?" And that was another, okay, so let me find a therapist and work through this.
Right.
So I went through a couple before I found one. And it's interesting because the one that clicked with me was a white lady.
Really? Oh my gosh.
That was the first
How
one
can
that
she relate
clicked
to
with
you?
me.
You know how
Right.
people-
But I feel like for therapy, you have to be ready.
Okay.
And at the time, I wasn't ready to actually sit there and process stuff because I knew I would have to process the death of my friend.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going to be the only thing that I needed to process.
How do you know when you're ready? Especially when you're in the midst of all of it, like the emotion. How do you know?
When the emotion has become too much.
Okay.
When you don't recognize yourself anymore, when all of the little things you've been trying to do to manage don't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it got to that point.
Yeah. It got
Okay.
to that point, most people see me and they're like, "Brittany's always
Yeah,
smiling."
it was happy.
Yeah,
cool.
always.
Right.
That wasn't it.
Oh wow.
So that wasn't it.
Yeah.
So that was, so prior to, the job experience, that was the other time in my life where I was very miserable.
Okay.
And not happy with things and kind of just there but not really thinking about stuff. I wasn't sleeping. It was that traumatic of an experience. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping. Like I said, I do well in school, so to be
Failing too.
failing classes and me not caring that
Yeah.
I failed the classes
Right.
was okay, we need you to do something. So I was like, it was 2 therapists. I called around. So
Yeah.
I think most people don't realize is like, you got to shop around for your therapist.
Okay.
This is a person that you're trusting your life with. You're trusting, yourself to be very vulnerable with.
Yeah.
You got to trust them. And their values have to kind of line up with you. So I recommend people like, use psychology today, use therapy for black girls, therapy for black men. Like there's a bunch of different directories. Use them, read the bios, call. Most therapists, typically all therapists, do 15, 30-minute consultations. Call them and ask them questions.
Yeah.
See what their vibe is like.
Okay.
Even then, you can go and meet with the therapist in person. And if you don't like them, don't have to stay with them.
Right.
Find another one like that's gonna fit.
How do you know they're bad though? Is it just a vibe type of thing? Like, have you ran across bad therapists? Like, oh my gosh, like this person's horrible at what they do.
So for me and my therapy journey, no.
Right. That's a good question. I was typing. Yeah,
Me and my therapy journey, no. I am not going to bash any other therapist. I think that, people who are in my profession do it for their own reasons.
Yeah.
I think, as a therapist, we always need to be checking ourselves and where we are, so that we can give the best to our clients. So I've experienced, with colleagues when they're at their stage of burnout,
Right.
where they don't really care and this and that. So, when I talk about my transition phase with me, is like, we have to keep that in check. We're dealing with people's lives.
Yeah, man.
This
is serious stuff, man.
Right. So I think, for you, I think for an individual, you got to go off someone's vibe, but also going off of making sure, they specialize in different things that you need.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. So you not only want to ask them questions about how you're going to afford them, but
Yeah.
you want to ask them questions about, what's their thoughts on sexuality? What's
Right.
their thoughts on, minorities and what we're dealing with right now? Like, ask them questions, because if those things don't align with you, it's probably not the good fit.
Right.
I tell people to ask questions about, their thoughts on family dynamics.
Right.
Are they, stuck back in, women being always submissive and in the house and doing this?
Yeah.
Or have they kind of migrated a little bit and it can work,
Okay.
Religion is a big one. That's one of those areas people don't like to touch,
Right.
right?
Leave it alone.
But like, I can't go see a Catholic therapist. Like, I can't go see, like, me personally,
Yeah.
I can't see a strongly religious therapist. It doesn't work. I don't
Okay.
see myself as religious. I see myself as very spiritual.
Okay.
2 separate things.
Right.
So it's like those things you gotta pay attention to.
That's very interesting.
And kind of ask those questions to know if it works for you. Because if that's something that you're struggling, your therapist ain't gonna be able to help you through that if y'all not seeing, somewhat eye to eye on that.
True.
But then even after that too, like after you've worked with a therapist for a time, you can separate and go to another therapist.
Right. You don't have to just be locked into this.
Right, because I think, your therapist helps you for whatever journey is going on at that time,
Yeah.
and, you're growing, so your needs are going to be different later. So when I met with the therapist that I had that was white, I liked her because she came from a different profession
Okay.
into therapy. So she kind of knew, and at that time, like, I was figuring out the entrepreneur thing too, and whatnot. So she came from a different area of work to therapist, but she also knew how to call me out, because she
Okay.
knows I'm a therapist.
Right.
So I know what to say.
Yeah, you know the tricks. You know how to be savvy
Right.
with
So
this.
any therapist I've had to work with has had to call me out on my bullshit.
Oh.
Because I know what to say.
Right.
Like, I know how to mask it. I mean, at the end of the day, for a therapist, we have to check our shit at the door before we work with our clients.
Yeah, that's hard.
So I know how to do it
Yeah.
so automatically
They're
and
like-
natural that, like, when I sat down with the
They're
therapist,
like,
she was
hey,
like,
you bullshitting me.
you just gave me like a textbook answer. Like, you just gave me the bullshit. So you want to really tell me what's happening? And I'm like, okay.
I like this. Lady. I like
like, cool. So I worked with her for a little bit, and then I felt like my journey was good with her, and I felt like I was in a good place at that point.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 other therapists right now.
That's good, man. How do you think? Well, you know how I feel. I make this very clear. I still think it's a fad.
Okay.
I do. Is it helpful? Yes.
Yes.
Do I think like?
Say it.
Yo, man, I just feel like, y'all be honest. I feel like black people, we get on this like there's this train we get on and we're last to it every single
Yeah.
time. So it's like, I'm sure other races probably been doing therapy, right? I don't know the statistics, I don't know the numbers,
Yeah.
but I feel like when we get something, it's like, oh, go do it. And it's like, then I see dollar signs and I don't know people's like their true interests.
Right. So I will agree with you. That is one thing that irritates me. I do agree that there is, this black culture thing, right?
Yeah.
Hands down, of course, I love, us being a minority. I love black people. I love that. Like, I'm not going to steer away from that.
Absolutely.
But I do think that, there is this, like you said, fad with therapy. Like, y'all need to talk to someone, go talk to someone, do this. And for me, it's like, are y'all talking to someone? The people who are promoting it, are you doing it? Like, so for me, I have my therapist. I go and check in with my therapist at least once a month. I probably need to go like twice a month, because it's not only for my own benefit, but I take in a lot with dealing with my clients too.
Right.
So I probably need to go more than that, to be honest. And
But at
that's
least you
a
go,
thing.
though.
Yeah, that's a thing that I'm working on. But yeah, like, it is a fad. It irritates me. I think there's a difference, and I usually have the unpopular opinion from most people, which is why I keep to myself sometimes.
Right.
But
You don't have to do that here, though. This is why you're here.
there is a difference between a life coach and a therapist.
Okay.
And I don't discredit life coaches at all, but as a therapist, I went to school for this.
Yes.
There's a certain level of training that I've done.
Yes.
That I know how to deal with.
Yep.
So, I don't like to lump these professions together, even though that we're all in like a healing type of setting. I think we can provide different things to individuals. So I think it's important for the person to know what they're looking for, what they want.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people I know who've had bad experiences with a therapist and they just write off therapy too.
I'm sure.
And I'm like, well, that was your first time. And when they usually tell me their experience, I'm like, I could have told you that wasn't going to work either.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like you had red flags from the start.
Exactly.
And you just
kept going.
You just kept
you
going
kept
with it.
ignoring them. Yeah.
Right. So, of course, that was going to be a bad experience, but you still need to go because nothing has changed in your life.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just feel like more people need to go to therapy and truly do it. It's for yourself. It's not for everybody else. It's not for the collective. It's not, to put out there that I'm going to therapy.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You don't need to do that. Like, if you want to share and that's a part of, like, your story, your testimony, go for it. I'm not going to stop any of that. I just hope that you're doing the work.
Right. It's like people talk down on, like if you don't go, it's like, oh my God, you don't go to therapy? Like,
I bet you that person's not going.
Yes.
Like,
It's the craziest thing now. It's just like, hold
I
on,
bet you that
wait,
person is not going, or that person did a couple sessions and think they know everything about it and it fell off and they're still not going. One of the things that I like advocate in my practice is like, therapy is a journey, just like our life is a journey, right? So just because you go for therapy for like a couple months here and you stop, doesn't mean you're not going to need therapy again at some other place.
Right.
We're growing, we're constantly growing in life. So I think you constantly are going to need some type of therapist or a life coach or spiritual, person that guides you, or like you'll need those supports depending on where you are in your life.
Yo, question. Nah, absolutely. Do you feel like it's saturated? Like, how do you, number one, do you feel like you're, being a therapist, do you feel like it's crowded with people?
No. Here's why. I'm not for everybody as a therapist.
Right.
I know the type of therapist that I am, and I know that I am not going to fit with everyone.
Right.
Everyone needs different things. I'm very comfortable in my lane. I've had, clients kind of like fire me.
How did that go?
So the first time that happened, I was heartbroken.
Oh man, I can only imagine, right?
I was heartbroken because I think I'm a great therapist. Like, honestly, like, so the first time it happened, like, I was completely heartbroken. Like, I had to go to my therapist, like, let me tell you what happened.
How they do it though?
And,
Tell me what happened.
Well, the first time it happened, this specific, it was a teenager. She was, 20 is not a teenager, but
She's getting there.
yeah. So, I mean, this generation of kids is a little bit different
Right.
than us. Okay,
Yeah.
our 20s and this 20s
It's
is real
different?
Is real different. So she basically was coming in for depressive symptoms, dealing with family stuff, just very like down on herself, and she thought I was too optimistic, too happy for her.
Oh.
But I'm not about to be depressed with you. Like,
Right.
that's going to defeat the purpose. Like, so I was able to recognize that after that first moment
Yeah.
of like, damn. Like, and after the first one, like, I've had people who I've worked with and then they just fall off the face of the earth. Like, or I've worked with and they're like, you know what, Brett, I think I need a different approach, or I need to try a different type of therapy or do something like this.
Right.
Like, I have to remind myself, this is this person's life. They need to do what they feel is best for them. It doesn't
Absolutely.
necessarily have to do with me.
Right.
It's what they got going on. But I also take those opportunities to kind of like check myself, to go
Yeah.
back to say like, okay, am I doing everything I could be doing for, for my clients?
Right.
Am I in the best state of mind to be able, to, guide my clients and help them, understand different things that are happening in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
interesting.
So she was like, yeah, so like, you're done. I'm done with you. Like,
Yeah, she was like, I don't think I'm gonna schedule another appointment. She literally was like, I think you're just like too happy. And I was like,
man.
okay.
Did you take another approach after that, or was you still doing your same thing before? Like, was you still doing it?
Still did my same thing, but what I do is typically after I have the initial session with a client where I'm getting like background information, they're kind of telling me why they're going, why they're coming to therapy. I give them some information about me. I kind of ask them like, so how comfortable do you feel with me right now? And I give them a rating. Like I say from 1 to 10, 1 being like,
okay.
you don't mess with me at all, so right now it's not going to be a good fit, we're good.
Yeah.
10, highly comfortable, and I usually tell people like, you're probably not there yet because this is the first time you're going to open up to anyone, so
Yeah.
you're not there yet. So I kind of ask them on a scale like, how comfortable are you with me?
Yeah.
If it's like, 4 and up, I'm like, I can work with it, right? I can work with it, and I kind of just ask them too, like, what would make you feel a little bit more comfortable outside of the fact that like this is a process. Like I'm still a complete stranger.
Yeah.
So you got to get comfortable with me, and I put it out there like, it's going to take a couple sessions for you to get comfortable with me. So I need you to just be open to that. And that's the other part of therapy. Like
Yeah.
people got to be open to like, there's some therapists you may meet that y'all hit it right off.
Right.
Sometimes it may take some time. It may take some time, and that's a part of the process. You got to just be open to that. Like, everybody's just not like an open book immediately.
That's
So.
interesting. Now, do you have friends that come see you?
My
Like
friends talk
people,
to me all the time.
like, but like personally, your services like paid, like
Yeah.
they're your therapist. How does that work? Cause y'all friends, and how do you know how do you shift gears with that? How do you know how to, or is that just a friendship in general? Like,
Okay, so therapy for me is a special kind of friendship with your client.
okay,
If you're working with someone for a long period of time, you are developing some sort of a friendship with this person.
Yeah.
All my clients, I'll honestly say, like, they are like extended family to me.
Okay.
I see my clients out. They will introduce me to their mama, their aunt. Come meet Brittany. This is my therapist. I've
Okay.
got invited to baby showers and graduations
Wow.
and birthday parties, and I've had to say no, because I have to keep that professional.
okay.
Keep that professional lane right there.
Right.
I've had younger clients that I've worked with that I have definitely gone above and beyond for them.
Yeah.
Outside of probably what a typical therapist would do, but I consider myself very hands-on with my clients. I know what I would need.
Yeah.
And sometimes just talking through something isn't it. So
Right.
like, I'm the one who's in a session, we'll talk through some stuff, I give you some homework, you come back, you didn't do it. Okay, we're gonna do this homework in this session together.
Right.
We're gonna do it together because it needs to happen.
Right.
Or, I've had, younger clients who, who are in that, 18 to 24, 26 type of range, where they're trying to figure stuff out and like don't know how to do, some things, and okay, I'm gonna go with you to do this.
Yeah.
Like I've had, older clients, older than me, who, struggle with anxiety bad and go to a doctor's appointment and don't know how to advocate for themselves. I've gone with them to the doctor's appointment. So we've processed it before, but when they need help and for me to jump in to help so that they advocate, I've done that. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of extra with my clients. So I think that creates, this level of a relationship. But to answer your question, with my friends that have come to me, none of my like inner circle are my clients.
Okay.
So that other layer of friends
People you went,
have
that you, you
that
know
like
through passion, you see 'em,
right.
yeah,
They have been my clients, and that works because we don't really know each other.
right.
To be honest,
Like you see each other, but you don't know each other.
like
Right.
we all went to Bloomfield, but we don't really know each other.
Right.
Like we all have gone to Bloomfield, Windsor, Hartford, like grown up with each other in high school or gone to college, but
Right.
like we don't really know each other.
True.
So I do very good with putting that boundary in place. I don't take everyone. If I feel like they can't, keep a, boundary in it, but typically,
So you fired people before?
yes.
Like yo, I don't want to do that. You could.
Yeah.
Hey, that's messed up, yo.
Well, no. So,
It sounds messed up. It's not messed up, but it's like, yo, look, man, you can't come here no more.
so as a therapist, you can't just take everybody that comes ringing your phone.
That's true. Really?
Like, you can't.
Why?
Because you have a responsibility to give them the best therapy that you can give them. So for example, I don't work with schizophrenic clients.
Brittany, you
Can't help you.
This,
And because that's not my specialty. There's
There's
an extra layer. Have I tried? Yes. Extra layer, I refer out.
Okay.
I refer out to someone else that can help you. If people are calling because they want specific type of therapies, I refer them out because again, this person needs to get the best type of therapy.
Right.
I'm not just gonna take you to say I'm doing something. It's not benefiting you.
That's true.
And the damn sure ain't benefiting me.
Right.
like,
a little bit though. You got a check coming.
yeah, that's the plus side of the business.
Right.
Like that's, to be honest, like that's the plus side of the business. I have done over the years plenty of free therapy. I can tell you to this day, there's probably like 2 or 3 clients on my caseload right now that I'm giving free therapy to.
Why?
Because I enjoy what I do.
Oh, okay.
And also because we established a connection that like I know that, eventually I'm going to refer them to someone else.
Got you.
But it's like this window of them being open to therapy is here right now. So I want to, establish a good foundation with them so that they go for it. Because sometimes people like, oh, I can't work with you. So then they close that door.
Right.
For us Black people, I want us to be in therapy.
Right. Exactly. So you want to keep that going as much as possible.
I keep it going. I give them a good experience with therapy so that they can be open-minded to another experience that's going to be good versus like, well, she just didn't want to help me, so fuck it, I'm not doing therapy. Like, bro, you need to be doing therapy.
Right.
Like,
do you deal with women, postpartum after they have a child? How does that work? How does that work for you?
So I've gone through training at UConn to work with, women through, motherhood, through, the beginning of pregnancy and through. So I've done that training. Like I do a lot of additional trainings to make sure I'm on top of my skills because, things change all the time.
Yeah.
And that also affects like the type of clients that I take. So like I do, therapy with mothers in postpartum. Like I also specialize in adoption and adoptees, kids and adults. So I specialize in doing that. I did a whole like year training for that. I specialize in LGBTQ and transgender specifically.
Wow.
Like I've had about 5 transgender clients over the years that I've helped from, the first thought of it through hormones, through sex change. Like,
wow.
So I've worked with that. And those are areas of interest with me that I, get the extended training and do that. I should be, certified to do trauma therapy. I just never completed my stuff for that.
Right.
But I've done the training, do the work kind of thing. But, working with moms, I do work with moms. I've worked with a lot of teen moms, a lot of young moms,
Yeah.
a lot of moms who are on their second kid, and so that actually comes through my door a lot. So I kind of work with them and I connect them to like Whitley.
Right, right. Whitley's the connector.
So,
right.
And Whitley has brought clients to me as well.
Right.
So we kind of tag team that in a way because there's things that I know I could do for them, on the emotional side of things. But in terms of, the whole pregnancy and everything that comes with that, Whitley is your
That's
expert.
your thing.
I slide them right on over here. So
that's, wow, like the spectrum is so wide. Like, damn.
I mean, that's what I like about my private practice is that I deal with a wide range of clients.
Yeah.
So that's why when I say like it doesn't feel like a job to me when I'm talking to people because it's different every day. I get something different every session. Like every session is different. There are some sessions that are a little more heavier
Yeah.
than other ones. There are some sessions I'm like, this person's violent. Like
Wow.
this is crazy. Like
Wow.
this is like, I get a wide range, but within that too, I just thought about something. Like if I've been working with someone for an extended period of time and we're hitting a wall,
Yeah.
I will fire.
Yeah. You'll be like, yeah.
I will
don't think-
fire. But I basically let them know like that I feel like we've hit a wall.
Yeah.
I give them the reasons that I feel like we've hit a wall, whether it is I think, they're not doing the work. I'm working harder than them.
Yeah.
Or, there's something in there that I don't necessarily specialize in and maybe they should try a different approach with someone else. And I've done that, I do it even more now. Since COVID, I've done it way more now
Right.
because I don't have the capacity for that anymore. Like I'm at a place where, if you're not going to do the work with me, like it's not beneficial for either of us.
Yeah.
And I can have another client who actually needs that slot and use that time versus clients who will, we say the same thing every week.
Yeah.
We've gone through steps. I've challenged this and that, given different perspectives, and you coming back to me with the same thing. So at that point, I'm like, okay, well, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. I want you to keep in mind all the progress we've made, where we're stuck at. Here's my suggestions and recommendations, and then holler at me in a couple months. Let's see where you at. Because you got to do the work. Realistically, you're meeting with your therapist once or twice a week.
Okay.
Typically with outpatient therapists like this. Like,
Yeah.
so you're meeting once or twice a week. Anything more than that, you're in some type of program or this or that. So you're meeting with me for an hour, 2 hours max a week. You got a lot of work you have to do outside of that.
Right.
Like, so we start and then you got to keep it going.
Yeah.
So if you don't keep it going, it's not going to work for you.
Question. Is there like an end? Like where it's like, yo, you completed this program.
Well, yeah. So depending on, you got to go back and look at the reasons you come to therapy.
Yeah.
And your therapist is supposed to be keeping track of these things too, what we're working on and the progress that you're making. So like if someone's specifically coming to me, like I've had a couple people come to me for like anger management.
Right.
One of the craziest cases I had, she came from me, it was court mandated anger management because she was out here doing some wild shit.
Oh, shit.
So, we did, maybe like 12 weeks of anger management focusing on the incident that got her into trouble, processing that, new coping skills, different things like that, how she can handle it better.
Yeah.
And at that point, my services is done unless you want to continue and talk about something else.
Okay.
So at that time, this specific client was like, so we worked through all this, but clearly I got other issues
Right.
that I want to talk
She
about.
figured some stuff out,
The
yeah.
other stuff. So we've done that, Other clients, again, it all depends on where you are in your life right now. So typically I start with clients and we meet once a week. And then depending on the progress we made, it goes down to bi-weekly. It can go down to monthly to the point where like, you're good now.
Yeah.
If you need me, you know how to get in contact with me, but you're good. Continue to do the things we've been doing and the progress you've been making and you'll be fine. But if you need me because life happens,
Yeah.
you know how to get in touch with me.
So even if you're good, you can still go to therapy. Like, yo, I'm good. Like, I just want to talk.
Yes. I have a couple clients like that. Just need an
I
outlet.
just need to talk.
Like I have one client in particular who I've been seeing for a couple years now that
Yeah.
just wants to talk. I'm just the outlet. I probably don't even say anything in the session, to be
Wow,
honest.
they just talking.
They just need to talk, but that also goes to show that, she doesn't really have anyone else that she can just like openly talk to. So like family dynamics and your circle plays a big role into it too. But she just comes to talk to get the stuff out of her
She just
head
talks.
because reality is I can't share shit with nobody.
Right.
Like I can't share shit with nobody. You can literally say whatever it is that she wants to say.
Yeah.
I will interject, when I need to be like, maybe you should think a little bit more about this one.
Right.
Or let's actually talk about let's talk about that one because
Right.
stuff going on. But I do have, it's nothing wrong with just talking.
Do you
Just
ever
talking.
Do you ever think therapists really tell other people's business? Do you think that like that happens?
Okay. So,
Uh-oh.
so a part of being a therapist, now there's a difference between when you're working at an agency and you're around your colleagues and things all the time versus working in a private practice and you have to build a network of other people.
Right.
As a therapist, we take on and deal with a lot of baggage. We have to have an outlet.
Absolutely.
We have to have an outlet. typically our outlet is with other therapists.
Right.
And it's not to badmouth our client, it's to say, hey, this client told me some crazy shit and I don't really know how to go for or what to do with this one.
Right.
So now this therapist is like, yo, try this with this client. Mind you, I'm not saying like when I meet my colleague, like, so I had to talk with Anthony and he told me blah, 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 blah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, yo,
Anthony
you know the
from
dude, right?
Bloomfield told
Yeah,
me,
the video, the dude with the camera.
yeah. No, I'm saying literally I have a client that's going through A, B, and C.
Yeah.
I need some help of where to go with this client. So like even at my practice, we do monthly where the team meets together and we talk about clients. We talk about clients to be able to support each other to be a better therapist for you guys.
Yeah.
Because as therapists, we don't know everything.
Yeah, y'all need help too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking. I'm like, yo, if you're dealing with so much people, that
Yes.
must be, I don't want to say depressing or anything, but that must be a lot.
It's a lot.
And you love it.
Yes.
You're crazy.
No, but this is why I started and I let you know that I'm in a transition because I've hustled for a while to where I've seen like 40, maybe even more. Like the max I've seen in a week is probably like 50 clients a week, which is
What?
wild.
Oh
Like,
my
and that was when
God.
I was working like Monday through Saturday, while and doing the most.
How much is a session?
We're not gonna talk about that. So like, no. Like, so I take a bunch of different insurances. I literally charge between 100 and 150 a session. Insurance.
150 times 50.
All my clients don't pay that.
Okay.
Most of like I take a lot of insurances, so
Yeah.
it just depends on the rate with the insurance, and sometimes with the insurance they have a contracted fee that's the only thing you can charge anyway. So again, like I said, I have a lot of clients I'm just taking for free right now too.
Right.
But because we take in so much and have to deal with so much, my tank
Yeah.
of seeing 40, 50 clients a week is no longer there. So I have been slowly chopping down my list of clients.
Right.
Because as much as I love it, I don't want to end up like hating it.
Right.
Because I truly enjoy the work that I do. So I'm being way more picky about the clients that I'm taking. If the clients are not doing the work, I am giving them that break notice.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm literally shifting right now.
What's not doing the work? Like what? There's homework?
Yeah, you can get homework from a therapist.
Shit.
Like for example, like if I have a client that's coming in and is complaining to me about them being broke,
Right.
like we're gonna talk about all the reasons why you're broke and the role that you play in being broke or
right.
not having money to come in for a means of effort. So like, with that being said, if I'm like, all right, so we need you to get a job, and the
shit.
simple homework that I'm gonna
sorry.
give you is like even just the small step of updating a resume, and then you
Right.
come back to me and next week the resume is not done. Like you can't keep complaining to me about not having income when you won't even first do the simple step. I didn't even give you a whole list of things to do. I just said start with the resume.
Right.
And then once you have the resume done, we can even talk through like the different jobs that you've had, experiences that you've liked, what jobs are out there that you should apply for or
Right.
challenge yourself with. Even validating for people like you're not gonna like everything about your job.
Right.
That's part of the
how it
part
goes,
of the
yeah.
game.
Right.
Like you're not gonna like everything.
It's true.
So we can't, like I have one client that just be quitting jobs left and right. Like, sis. Like
Yeah, man. You
that's
gotta,
like, so let's talk about why you keep quitting jobs left and right.
Right.
Like, let's talk about some entitlement there. Let's talk about some barriers to like, different things you got going on why we can't maintain a job right now to be able to do this stuff. So if you're not gonna take recommendations from your therapist that is ultimately going to help you progress in life,
Yeah.
you're not doing the work. Like,
That's
not
fair.
doing it. If
No,
you're
that's fair.
having issues with, family members and we process, you and being able to communicate your needs and your concerns, and you don't do that,
Yeah.
and we're still stuck in
Yeah.
this, like, you're not doing
Yeah, you're
work.
you're not involved. You're not locked in
No.
like how I am.
And you don't have to be 100% there. You just have to give a little bit. And I
Yeah.
tell people that all the time. Like, you don't have to be 100% in therapy. I think that'll gradually grow.
Yeah.
But you got to give something. Like, you have to give something. Like, even if you come in and you're telling me, like, I can't stand my partner. And I might be like, let's talk about all the reasons why you can't stand your partner.
Right.
And we start with the list, but I want you to make a concrete list, and you can't do that for me. We need to know this list so I can help you understand,
right.
so we can make some changes, so I can see what is more so related to you and not your partner,
Right.
where we can find
So
a
you can do
compromise.
your job.
Yeah, like, I can't do it for you.
Right. That's fair. That's
I
fair.
can't do it for you. But yeah, so I've been chopping down on my list because, like I said, my capacity isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of other things I want to do and that I'm good at doing too. And I feel like, with me working so much like that, overall my practice takes a toll.
Yeah.
And I want to be way more supportive for my staff that I have too.
Right.
So yeah,
I got a couple questions, man. Like it's
Go
all
ahead.
it's all going
Go
in.
ahead.
So I just want to make sure I remember them all. So your client base, is it like a culture thing? Do you have any like other races as clients, or like 99% of your clients are black?
probably like 95% of my clients are black and
Or like
Latina, yeah.
Latino? Yeah.
Latina, Hispanic, West Indian.
Yeah.
Like,
All within that realm.
yeah.
Do you have any
White
clients?
Yes, I do.
How is that? Like, is that difficult?
No,
Oh.
not difficult for me at all. Typically, the white clients that I have grown up in the inner city.
Oh,
They've grown
okay.
up in an urban area.
Okay, so they're not from, okay, got you. So
Yes.
Let me watch
I
that
have
shit.
had maybe like 3 privileged white clients
yeah.
that I've worked with. That wasn't difficult for me either. They struggled a little bit more because you got to bring them back down to reality.
Right.
So definitely way more of challenging what they got going on, but they typically come to me for that. So I'm very upfront with, what I can give you. So I'm, most of my clients see me as like tough love
Yeah.
type of therapist. Like I'm gonna give you all the sympathy, empathy in the world. I might even cry in a session with you if it get
Wow.
crazy. But I'm gonna be on your ass.
Right.
I'm gonna be on your ass.
Was it
So
was it like, okay, they're like, I need this black woman as a therapist? Because they're white and they're like, I need a black woman to tell me?
no, I don't think I ever had that experience.
Yeah.
Usually like they would find me on the directory.
Yeah.
So they know I'm black.
Right. Right, they see you.
They see me, they see I'm black, and it doesn't seem to faze them. I think more so the ones that I've worked with want a different perspective.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm going to give.
Right,
A different
absolutely.
perspective of what you have been experiencing.
Right.
Like, so I've had, the couple privileged white clients that I've dealt with, they come in with issues of, wanting to be very independent, but still depending on mommy and daddy to do different things.
Right.
So then we break that down about, what it means to be truly independent.
Right.
And how, to put some healthy boundaries in place and how you're going to have to, you can't say you want to be independent and still want mom and dad to pay for this.
Right.
Like, we can't pick and choose when you want to do it.
Right.
Like so, I've had to, navigate through that with some clients. I've had clients that I've had to navigate through being a minority ally.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too.
That is, so they're telling you like, yo, I'm an ally, like.
I have black friends. But when we talk about different things, I'm like, so that doesn't align. That's not really aligning. But they were grateful for that, right?
You gave
And I
them-
think
yeah.
this was in the mix of right before COVID, in the mix of COVID, when we have all the George Floyd and protests and
Yeah,
whatnot.
that did it.
And that even put us at a, I'll be honest, it put me at a heightened level of working with white colleagues.
Right. I mean, how do you do that at that time?
I didn't.
You just said,
Not even being funny. It was like, if as a white colleague, a white friend, during those hard times, or even especially during those hard times where, our nation is going through things, our black community is going through things, but on a regular basis, if you're not checking to make sure and see how I'm doing and how I'm handling stuff,
Yeah.
you're not an ally.
so you expected those clients to check in on,
So I'm not expecting my clients to do it.
yeah.
Because they're my clients.
Right.
So I'm not expecting them to do that.
Right.
But when it comes to colleagues,
Colleagues, right.
You can't be pro-black for me if, this situation that happened and you just didn't check in and say, hey, I just want to make sure you're good,
Brittany, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not
I
buying
didn't know.
that.
No one told me.
Not buying it.
Okay.
No, I'm not buying it. It's not working for me. It's just
Can
not
you
it.
Well, now I know. Now I know.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And that's a crazy topic.
Yeah, I don't want you to.
Because it's just crazy, but it's just I'm not buying that I don't know, I'm not aware of what minorities go through.
Right.
Do more.
Fair.
When you want to know more, ask questions. Don't just assume, but then once you get my answers, you need to respond differently because
Okay.
now you do know. But just to say I don't know, find out then.
Yeah, that's a bad answer. I don't even like that answer is not tolerated around me.
No.
Like, yeah, I'm fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm not like not happening.
Right.
Like it's just not it. Like when like
Nah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
so yeah, so I to back to the original. Yes, I've had some white clients. I still have some now.
There's privileged black clients too.
Yeah, those are even great.
Oh
Again,
man.
I have fun with my job.
Really? Yeah, there's a whole, like I said, there's a wide range.
I truly enjoy my job because I think I learn a lot too.
Yeah.
There's times that I've had sessions with clients and it has checked me. Like they have said some stuff, I've responded, and then later I'm like, damn.
I fucked up.
Like, not even that I fucked up, but like I need to work through that myself.
Oh.
Because I need to make sure I'm not projecting my stuff onto any of my clients too, which again, I think it's beneficial for every therapist, I kind of bunch us in this like healing culture, therapist, life coach, Reiki, someone who's doing Reiki, anything spiritual, any of those different, realms of, how you're working with people through stuff, to have a therapist too,
Got you.
to have a group that you can get some stuff out to, because again, we take in a lot and we always have to check ourselves.
Have you ever felt like, damn, yo, I messed up. Like I gave the wrong like advice. Like, has that ever happened? Like, and then you went back and said, look, man, maybe you should do something different.
So I don't think I've been in a place where I feel like I'm giving the wrong advice. I don't give advice. So here's what I do with my clients. My client can come in and give me a situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them multiple perspectives about the situation
Yeah.
to allow them to figure out which lane they want to go in.
Got you.
And when they figure out the lane that want to go in, I'm going to be supportive of it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, as long as you are okay with the lane that you're picking, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
And then understanding that you can change that at any time. So like I have one of my clients, she's notorious for doing wild shit.
Yeah.
So notorious for doing wild
I feel like
shit.
you said this 3 times, and I think you're talking about this specific person.
She's notorious for doing wild shit.
Right.
So she'll come in, let me tell you, and I'm like, I already know.
Oh, here it
I
is.
already know.
Yeah.
So I let her talk, and then I break down perspectives for her. And sometimes she'll say, you know what, I need to take the high road, I'll do this. Other times she'd be with the shits.
Like, yo, I'm about to
And
slap her, and then you'll be
she'd
like,
be with the shits, and I just ask her, like, so with being with the shits, are you comfortable with the consequences and reactions that are going to go with that? If you're comfortable with that, there's nothing I can do.
I'm a slapper.
Nothing I can do.
I'm about to slap the shit out of her when I see
And
her.
if she calls the police on you and you get arrested and you catch a case, or if that leads to other issues, are you okay with that?
Okay. That's okay.
Are you okay with that?
Okay. All right, I got
And
you.
if a person tells me they're okay with that, it's their
so,
life.
so you're like,
reality,
so you're like, all right, go ahead, man.
because we talked about every scenario that's going to come with it. It's at the end of the day, I'm not here to,
Oh,
tell
shit.
a person how to live their life.
Yeah.
I don't want to be told how to live my life.
Right.
So I'm not here to tell a person how to live their life. I just want them to look at the big picture
Yeah.
when they're making decisions.
So there's
That's
never
it.
like, yo, you should, don't.
Oh well, I will strongly suggest.
Yeah, okay,
that,
yeah. I don't think this is a good idea.
strongly suggest this.
Okay.
And like even in situations with this particular client, like okay, so if you decide you go to take that way, like don't think I'm gonna be your cop out.
Right.
Like don't like, Britt, I need you to write me a letter. I need you like.
Oh, yeah,
You know
okay.
what you were doing.
So you're not coming to save, like, yeah, nah.
No. This
Okay.
is why I talk about all the
Oh,
perspectives.
okay.
Again, like,
You're good.
I think there's no right or wrong way to live your life. Like, granted, there are certain things that we should not be doing.
Yes.
Okay. Certain things.
Yes. The
Should not have that.
obvious,
Yeah,
right?
the obvious. But outside of that, everybody's life is their life.
Mm.
So again, as long as you're comfortable with it, it's not going to matter reactions you get from everybody else or
Right.
how everybody else feels about it, because you have to live your life.
It's true.
Like I love when, people, make the comments, especially on social media, if I was in this situation.
Right,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
I would
blah,
do
blah,
this, I would do that.
You wouldn't know unless you were in the situation.
Right.
Like realistically, you would not know unless you were in the situation.
Right.
So when a client comes in and presents a situation, I give them every avenue. And okay, which lane would you like me to help you with? Here's all your options.
Yeah.
Which one we doing? And again, understanding that you can change
Yeah.
because we change.
Yeah.
So in a moment, and again, we're human too. People forget that therapists are human too. Like I have my moments. I'm choosing to be petty today, like when I probably shouldn't.
Right.
I'm choosing to be petty at the moment, and then I'll be an adult later. Like
Got
you have,
I
it's life.
was trying to get you. I was trying to set you
Thanks.
up. I'm confessing. You handled it very well. Cause I'm like, you gonna tell them to
No,
slap the shit out of somebody, but
no. If someone's telling me they're gonna slap the shit out of somebody, it don't matter what I say.
right.
They're
That's
gonna
what
do
they're gonna do
that.
it. Right.
It doesn't matter what I'm saying. I'm just letting them know once you do that, right?
This
Like, let me tell you what could potentially happen, what that looks like after you do
Right,
that. So
right.
hopefully that gives them enough to like think about that decision before they do it, prolong it a little bit,
Right.
something. But like, no.
I'm the type of dude that's like, yo, what should I do? That's me.
So I have clients that do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah, like, yo, should I slap him? And then, so how do you respond?
And my response is, do you want to slap them?
I do, but I don't know what to do.
So why is there hesitation about whether you want to
Okay,
slap them
that's
or not?
fair. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna tell you to, because what's gonna happen if I say slap them, you're gonna do it, and then when you catch a case, it's gonna be like, well, my therapist told
Yeah.
me to
Okay,
like,
got you.
and then I'm gonna lose my damn job.
So those situations happen.
Yes, people will ask me all the time, what should I do in this situation? I cannot tell you what to do in that situation.
Right.
Again, let's talk through the situation. Let's talk through all these different options you have, and now you need to figure out which one feels the best to you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I
you're
would
not,
actually.
you're not getting me caught up.
Listen. I would ask you a million questions all day. I would ask you like, yo, has someone tell you they committed a crime? Like all these things. Like,
I can't say anything.
that's what I'm saying. That is.
Client and therapist confidentiality is a real thing. The same thing with like your lawyer.
So
it's
why?
the same thing.
So they could tell you they committed a crime and they'll be free. Like they'll know like it's safe to tell you.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
The only time that I need to say something if you're gonna tell me you're about to commit a crime.
Okay.
I have the duty to warn the person that is going to be in danger.
Right.
Like legally, I have the duty to warn that.
Yeah, your
if
job
a
is serious.
Yeah, but if you come in and you already did some shit,
That's it. Yeah, it's too late. Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about that. Like,
We're gonna shift gears.
I'm gonna hope that we can work through this to the point where you don't do this shit again.
Right.
Or you own up and take accountability for what you have done so that you can really grow into a better person.
Wow.
But if you're gonna come and tell me, like, if you come in like, I'm about to go kill this person next day, like, I need to, assess if this is you just talking shit or if you really
Right.
mean this. And if you really mean this, like, I'm on the phone. Like, just so you know, there's a
Yeah.
threat made on this person's life
Mm-hmm.
by such and such. I have to do it. And I'm going to tell you that I'm doing that.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to do sneaky shit behind the... You're going to sit right here while I make this call.
Damn.
Like,
Damn.
because I don't want to mess up our relationship and the work that we're doing, because I think, if I think about just off a tangent, but if I think about the way that, our minority people think about DCF,
Yeah.
that's one of the issues, a mistrust issue. They come in, they smile in my face, they do different things, and then they go behind my back and make these reports and do all these things.
Right.
I'm not going to do that with you. I'm
Mhm.
upfront, we're going to make the reports together.
Right. Yep.
So that like, we're in this together, and I'm going to help you through this, but what you're doing ain't it either. So I got to make the report.
See, you never had a situation like that though.
Making reports?
Yeah, like like what you're just saying, like you never.
I've had to do a couple DCF reports, unfortunately.
That sucks.
It does.
But how's business? How's business in your field? Even though, because I asked you, is it saturated? You said no.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I mean, there's therapists all over the place.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
So how is the business side of things? Is it lucrative? You feel?
Yeah, phones ring all day long. All day long. I probably got 2 missed calls now, to be honest. The phones never stop ringing. People always need someone to talk to.
Right.
Again, I think, you have to be... new therapists coming up can't be worried about it being oversaturated.
Right.
There's never going to be enough black therapists. There's never going to be enough
That's true.
minority therapists.
That's true.
So for us in particular, we're not oversaturated at all. And even with that being said, like, even if, everyone in this area wanted to become a therapist, everyone comes for you for different things. You bring something different to the table versus everyone else.
Right.
Like, we go through similar schooling, masters in social work go to the same schooling, major family therapists go through their training, different things like that. We bring something different to the table, but as a therapist, you also bring you
Right.
to the table too. So I'm very transparent with my clients. I am not a dressed up person in the office.
Oh, really?
That's not me. I am.
That's what's up.
Wintertime, you will see me in sneakers and a hoodie. Like, it's cold outside. Like, the work we're doing together has nothing to do with what I got on.
Oh my God. You're changing. Yeah.
I'm that therapist,
Okay.
like literally, because that's not the focus. Like that doesn't define the work that I do with you and the, you know, everything that I put into the job that I do with you. It doesn't find that at all.
Right.
Like, not gonna be me.
That's a great job, man. I mean, as far as dress code is concerned.
So, and that's one of the things I love about my private practice, right? Because
You can do whatever you
I
want.
can wear whatever I want. Mind you, I'm still going to keep it professional,
Right.
Right? I'm still going to keep it professional, but I'm also like, you're not gonna see me suited up in a dress. Like,
Right.
you know me.
I
Dressing
do.
ain't it.
That
Like,
ain't- right. I do.
low key a little tomboy. Like,
Right.
I don't like. That's just not gonna be.
It's fair
So-
enough.
So I think in knowing that, you know, there's always going to be tons and tons of therapists, you got to keep yourself focused on what you bring to the table, because everybody brings something different.
Right.
And your clients that are for you are going to be for you. Like, I have clients that have been sticking it out with me for like 5 years.
Damn.
And they have turned into the client where, like, we've dealt with all the shit, that they're one of the people that just want to talk.
Right.
And it's on like a monthly basis, a bi-weekly basis. They'll take like, I'm gonna take a couple months off, but don't take me out of your schedule. I'll be back.
Right.
Like, type of thing. But I like that because, you know, again, life is a journey. So we're all in different spaces. But, you know, business is fine. The phone don't stop. I'm looking forward to getting back to a grind come like September.
Okay.
Especially, like I said, you know, my goal is to see less clients so I can manage the practice better.
Yeah.
I want to be able to provide more not only to my staff, but, you know, in providing more to my staff, they can do better as therapists too.
Right.
So I'm, you know, taking the summertime as a time to like look at, you know, policies and procedures and the way we're doing things to, you know, make things better, make a smoother transition for clients getting in the door. Offer hopefully some more services. Like, there was a lot of things we had planned before COVID, and COVID kind of like shut it down.
Yeah.
So now I'm revisiting it because it just is what it is, and it's time to get back to it. So definitely I'm more in a business mindset now.
I'm glad you brought that up because let's get to it. Outside of you know, therapy, what other business endeavors you got going on?
So I'm a commercial landlord.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So that is great. That is exciting, completely different
Right.
from, you know, therapy. But I enjoy that though. I like that side of things. I think, you know, with purchasing my first building for the practice, I learned a lot. And instead of it like defeating me, it's like now I'm more interested in that real estate. And, you know, real estate is more of my, you know, retirement plan too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like that aspect of things. I like being able to provide a space for minorities too.
Yeah.
So I've been able to do that for a couple different friends, which I like that. I'm hoping to, you know, I'm doing some renovations on one of my spaces now to be able to offer more and hopefully continue to get space for us that we can be ourselves and be comfortable and do what we need to do. But I like the commercial side of things. There's headaches that come with this.
Sounds
I've
like it.
experienced
Yeah.
lots of headaches with, like, you know, you rent a space, you don't got to worry about too much. I own the space. Now I got a toilet clog. I got a ceiling leaking.
Phone calls is
I got
yeah.
I got the AC ain't really pumping like it's supposed to.
Right.
Like, I got, like...
And that's all you handle all that.
Yeah.
How do you balance, you know, the business side of, you know, and then real estate? How do you
figuring it out now.
You don't have, there's no answer to that.
I'm figuring it out, and then it also plays into this transition space that I'm in.
Right.
Because in order for those sides of the business to grow like I want it to, like, I got to find some type of balance. I got to take a step back and do that. So like I said, with the, you know, private practice side of things, I have so many things I want to do to make it better.
Right.
That includes doing stuff with the, you know, commercial spaces and whatnots. But, you know, I'm figuring it out. I don't got nothing figured out, just so you know. I have not one thing figured out.
So you just learning on the go.
Yes.
You know,
I have not one thing figured out. So people will see it like, oh, you've been running a private practice. I'm going on like 6 years now. That shit is not figured out.
Oh, you just...
It is not figured out.
Right.
I was very much affected by COVID, like everyone else. So yes, we are still seeing clients, but whole shit's changed. Like, whole system and setup. Like, I had to figure out how to make everything electronic in like 3 days.
Damn.
Like, lots. and still working on stuff because as much as technology is great, there are downfalls with technology.
Right.
Like, you know, when I have a therapist that's on a session and their shit just goes out and they can't reconnect with the client, they're texting me, but
Right.
I can't, I'm locked out. Like, how do
I need help.
I need to maneuver.
Right.
I gotta figure these things out. So it's constant figuring stuff out. Constant.
People, you know, I see a lot of women doing things, right? I've been speaking to a lot of people, and you know, some people say, oh, you know, they're in a relationship, their husband helped them. Oh, I was able to do this. You are by yourself doing this, right?
Yes.
So I feel like people are gonna look and be like, how are you doing this?
I'm not completely by myself. So I have a good support team.
Okay.
My best friend is probably like my main support in terms of the business. He's been there from like day one he was the one who told me just start the business now.
Right.
So he's been there from day one. So he's like truly a support for me. He will let me know when I done got comfortable and when I need to get my shit together. So that on top of my mom. Maintenance stuff and owning commercial, you know, building is typically my best friend. And then I love my daddy. My daddy is technically in Florida, but 2 times a year he makes a trip and he's here for 2 weeks and he handles whatever the hell I need him to handle.
Wow. Yeah.
So yes, the bulk of time I'm doing a lot of things on my own. I'm also going to work on, especially with the goals that I have for the second half of this year,
Yeah.
of taking more help. I only ask for help once.
Yeah.
And after that, I'll
You're
just
just
do it on
doing
my
it.
own. But realistically, if I want to grow in the way I want to, like I need to be open and receive the help. So that is the area that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But I have a close-knit support system. I know, like, if I really needed help, I know who I can call.
Right.
So I have, you know, a good support system. I know that, you know, even if I have a couple of friends, even if I don't talk to them regularly, like I know if I truly needed something and I reached out, they would help me.
Right.
It's more so me that, like,
does-
you know,
yeah.
that does everything, has hands in everything, again, because I'm still figuring everything out.
Right.
Because this is my livelihood. This is my life. These are especially my business, you know, POC, and then now trying to build this commercial thing. Like, these are my babies.
Right.
Before I even had babies. Like, these are my babies. So, like, I'm very much controlled, everything involved in there. But I am going to, like, that is one of my goals for the second half of the year, is to receive more help.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like my core, I would definitely say is like my best friend, my mom, and like my dad. Like, I could pick up the phone right now and say, I'm freaking the fuck out, this needs done, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll figure out how to do it. Even my parents being in Tampa, they'll figure it out. Like, if worst case scenario, my dad probably hop a flight
Come
like
up here.
tomorrow
Yeah.
to handle that.
That's
but,
beautiful. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
So I do have the support. So everything is not like completely on me. I think, you know, being an entrepreneur and having a business, you need support.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you could do everything on your own. But depending on where you want to take your business,
Yeah.
you need help.
Right.
You literally need help. So like, pandemic. Before the pandemic, I hired my first assistant. Why? I needed help.
Right.
I couldn't see my 40-some clients and answer the phones all day.
Exactly.
Like, so I hired a first assistant. Amazing. She has been a godsend
Wow.
to me.
Wow.
Like, I appreciate her so much. I don't have to answer the phone.
Right.
She does it all.
Shout out to
That
her.
is one thing that is like not on my everlasting to-do list.
Right.
Like, one thing that is there. Like,
So you recommend when you scale up, get some help.
you have to. There's no way around it, or you're gonna stay in that position. And for the lifestyle that I want to live,
Right. Right.
I need some help. Like, if I want to be the snowbird,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and have a house on the beach somewhere,
Right. You need help.
like, I'm going to need help.
How'd you know to own the building instead of like rent? Like, where that mindset come from? And how'd you do it? Because, you know, you like, yo, I got the building, but it's like, how'd you get the building?
Okay, so I was renting an office space on New Park Ave.
Right.
Renting a space, and I had just my single space when I first started. And then 3 months later, I got another space because I hired 2 of my friends.
Right.
So we were just constantly building. And then I was able to get a suite in the same building because I'm just constantly building and adding to the team. And I got to a point where like we just didn't have space.
Right.
And then I was just dealing with little shit in the building that I did not like. And my landlord was like a little bit of a slacker at the time with getting stuff fixed, like leaky ceilings, this and that. And I'm like, again, I've been, you know, I'm a tomboy, so I'm very hands-on. Like,
Right.
I know how to do a lot of different things that, you know, most people are like, Brittany, you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Have one of your friends, somebody do that. But that's just how my parents raised me. My dad, too. Like, you know, growing up, like, my dad was a firefighter. Him doing stuff in the yard. I was out in the yard, too.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah.
so
You know what to do.
if I ask for help and you can't do it when I need it, I'm going to get it done. Like, I can't stop. Like, it's on I got to get it off my list.
The
There's
show
so much
keeps
other
going,
stuff.
yeah.
So I got to figure it out. So like, I'm always working and doing stuff. So like, we just started growing out of the space. And at the time I was looking for more office space, but nothing was really like coming up to what I needed. I was 2 years in business and I'm like, my mom, I don't know who said it. And I'm thinking it's my mom was like, just buy a building. And I'm like, okay. And I always thought about that at some point, but I didn't think I was ready. So it'd be these moments
Right.
where I'm progressing towards that, and then I think the little fear factor comes in, like,
Yep.
I'm not ready for that yet. But it's like, bitch, you quit your job. Like, you are ready for whatever that
Man,
comes
you
in.
in it.
Like, so I was like, okay, let's buy a building. Like, so I went to the bank, talked to the bank, and they're like, oh, no, you've been doing good. You got enough. You got projections. We'll give you a loan to buy a building.
There you go.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and then we talked numbers and it made sense and it added up to like what I was already doing.
Yeah.
Outside of like utilities and everything else that's gonna come to it. But my rent rate and what my mortgage rate was gonna be the same shit. And I'm like, instead of me spending money on fixing this little office that I got when I shouldn't be doing it anyway, I'd rather be fixing my own shit.
Right.
Like, that was the mindset for me. And also the mindset of keeping everything like, I don't like owing anyone anything.
Right. I
Like,
figured that.
I don't. I don't. So that was just probably like the next progression and it just happened. So the first building I looked at was supposed to be in West Hartford. And it was a shit show. It was a shit show. I lost over like $30,000 on that deal.
Whoa.
That did not fall through. Yeah. So I learned hard lessons like day one.
Whoa.
So I lost that amount of money plus dealing with West Hartford is a whole nother beast.
Why you say that?
They just too much. Like they are too much. Like, I need this, I need that. Now you need to add this. Oh no, this is this. They're just way too much. Like, way too much. Do I think they purposely do stuff for like minority people? Yes, but that's a whole nother
Yeah, we won't.
conversation.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
But so the first building I looked at was in West Hartford. It was a great location. West Hartford, Hartford Town Line, great location, big enough space for me to do a lot of different things. I would have probably had to, you know, do like a full renovation in the building, but I was like planned and ready to do that.
Right.
On this deal, I worked with, I try to work with minorities. I try to. That hasn't always worked out in my benefit. But it was a new process to me. I don't know anything too. I put a lot of, you know, faith on the people that I was working with to like handle different things.
Yeah.
And I knew better because I know me, I like to learn everything anyway.
Right.
So I was doing that, but like I eased up a little bit.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I done lost like over $30,000 on that one. So I backed out of that deal because it was a horrible deal.
Right.
So I lost like $30,000. And then at that point, usually people tap out.
Right.
Like
That
I'm
will
on set, I'm
end
about to
some.
tap out,
That
right?
will end somebody.
I was like, nah, like I'm gonna get my building. So then the building that we're in just like fell in my hands, to be honest. Like, and that is like God given.
Right.
Like, literally, it wasn't even on the market. It was there. I met the owner. I told him what I did. He was like, I wanted to give it to you. But we had to go through probate because unfortunately his father died.
Right.
Black people not having wills. Please, black people, get some wills.
Right,
Get some
speak
trusts,
on
get
it,
some,
speak
like,
on it.
Like, we need to do this
Yeah.
because it complicates things.
Yep.
So we had to go through probate. I spent a little bit more on it, but that beautiful building. I did a full renovation of that. A lot of money out of my pocket. I think people don't realize too with building a business, a lot of money comes out your pocket at first. For like the first couple years.
Yeah. A lot of
Like-
people don't see. I feel like people see, you know, what you're doing, and they don't see, like, they don't hear like all this stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yo, man, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, man.
Well, yeah. So with spending a lot of money on my business, that means I couldn't do extra stuff that I wanted to do.
Right.
And I've been there before. So like going to get my master's, I did a 3-year program. So I did part-time and I worked full-time. So I had a full-time job, I did part-time school, plus still had to have like a full-time internship. Crazy 3 years of my life.
Right.
But I didn't travel, I didn't do none of this. Like I couldn't do extra shit and,
Right.
and live. I moved back home with my parents at that time. Like it was a lot. After being on my own, like I moved back home with my parents, finished up. Like there's a lot of sacrifices that
That's
you
the
have to
word.
make. You know, with getting this building, you know, I had to, you know, I moved in with a friend for like 6 months because rent had to like some stuff
Yeah.
have to give. So I
Right.
lived with a friend for like 6 months.
Damn.
Like a lot of different things go into it. Like I, you know, depleted my savings accounts.
Yep.
Like a lot of stuff goes into getting to, you know, where you're at. And it's not just like the startup to get there. Like I'm probably just now, like realistically, before COVID, I was probably just now about to see some light.
Profit. Yeah, right.
And then COVID hit. So we're like back at square one.
Man.
Which again, most people would just be like, I'm done. Nah, like I'm not done.
Right.
I see the potential. I know where I'm going, so I'm not done. I'm gonna figure this out. But yeah, so I learned a lot from that first, you know, loss of a building.
Right.
Got my building. I was excited about it. Learned how to deal with fucking contractors trying to take advantage of you. Like, thank God for my best friend because, you know, men really have a problem with women.
Speak on it.
Like,
Because they're the third person in the last 24 hours, a woman, black woman, that's
Yes.
contractors taking advantage of them.
yeah, but so I get my mouth from my mom too when it needs to happen.
Right.
So I'm not playing that game. Like I'm very upfront where like I pay for my service. I've never been the type of person who is not trying to shortchange person, no one like that. So like this one in particular contract that I was working with, we signed an agreement. Here's the timeline and stuff he gave me.
Yeah.
He was deviating from the timeline all the time. Now, understand stuff happens. Communicate with me though.
Right.
Like when you don't communicate with me, now I'm pissed off.
Right,
like
right.
now I'm upset. Like I feel like extra money's coming out of my pocket. You're holding up my timeline to do things and get inspections and do this and that. Like I need you to communicate. So he wasn't communicating with me and I flipped out. I flipped out one day.
Yeah.
And when I flip out, I have my receipts.
Right.
So I flip out, I rip receipts. I'm very much professional. I follow up with a professional email that's going to read you to, but in a professional way.
Right.
Like, I do it very well. He was taken aback by it to the point where I couldn't continue to work with him. I had to get my best friend to step in.
Damn.
Like, so you be the face because we can't interact because now he's seeing me in a type of light, but it's your fault.
Right.
like,
Right.
It's your fault. So like, unfortunately, like I think especially just as women, but as black women, we definitely deal with this like, also who owns the building?
Yep.
And then, excuse me?
You're talking to her.
Right. I am the owner. Yes. Like you got to come through me. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't understand. Like,
I'm going to find y'all contractors that keep doing this, all right? Y'all stop taking people's money, trying to take the bag and run off.
seriously.
I'm tired of this.
Seriously.
Tarquin laughing because he know I did this earlier. I'm going to find y'all. We gonna,
Just do what you say you're going to do.
That's it.
And then communicate if things change.
That's
It's
it.
really that simple.
God damn.
It's to the point where with this contractor, like, he was supposed to take care of everything that needed to be taken care of down at city for permits and stuff.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
Isn't this the same story we heard today?
Like, at this point, I'm a contractor.
Right.
Like,
You might
I've
as well
done so
get-
much work
You might as well get
in
your...
my buildings that I'm a contractor. Like, I might as well get that too. Like, I know how to, you know, I don't want to talk to the middleman. Like, I need to go directly to, like, you know what, I work with a company and it's to the point where I've learned now that I create my own contract in addition to theirs.
Right.
Because I'm not playing games with y'all. I had to. Like, I'm not, y'all crazy. Like, y'all are nuts. Like, I don't pay anything cash. And if I do, I have my own receipt book.
Right.
And I write you out a receipt too. Because y'all be playing games. Contractors be playing games, and I'm the wrong one.
Yeah. And we see.
I'm the wrong one
We see.
to be playing games with. So that's the other side of the business that people don't see. Like, it's great owning all these things.
Right.
Headaches.
Comes with a price,
Like,
though.
So like, my first building, I bought it, complete renovation. I'm gonna say I spent $100K out of my own money in renovating it.
Oh, I'm about to pass
Okay.
out.
100K out of my own money. And that's because this property is beautiful, but there was no maintenance and upkeep.
Right.
So I was able to get a loan for the mortgage and a renovation loan, but then everything else outside of
It was
that
your money.
was my money. So like home cooked meals, I need to holler at grandma, wasn't no eating out.
Damn.
Like we gonna have to do we gonna have to skip a meal today.
Yeah.
We gonna have to
Shit.
like
Make it
shit,
work.
like
Make it work.
we
Make it
gonna
work.
have to make this work. Like I would love to go do this, but it's not happening because I have to pay for this. Like lots of sacrifices went into it. I get building up to par. Mind you, that building is still not complete. Like I need to
Right now?
finish. No, I need to. You know, you're dealing with a older building, so
Right.
like you know, stuff has to continue to be maintained. Since I'm in there, I've been maintaining everything.
Right, okay.
I have a unfinished basement. I would love to finish.
Right.
My issue with the unfinished basement is that the cement floor is unleveled. And the quotes I've been getting to level out
Crazy.
the cement floor is nuts. To the point where like I YouTube how to get my own jackhammer.
Yo,
and like I'm gonna call the best friend and my daddy gonna fly him up here and we're gonna have to do it ourselves because they're nuts. So that's the only reason that part's not done.
Yeah.
That would secure the building and just I would still have to maintain it. But like my first year in that building, I spent another 30K because I had to replace my sewer line.
Ooh.
Because most people don't know in Hartford right now, like these sewer lines that are underground are old as fuck.
Right.
They're old and they're all getting clogged up and they're breaking and whatever. So I started having issues with the toilets. Now again, working in the profession I work with, you know, if anyone has a waiting room, people will shit anywhere. like I have to say it, but anywhere. And then I was getting clogged toilets and like, mind you, I'm seeing a client, one of my therapists, my staff is texting me like, Britt, the toilet's clogged. And I'm like,
Yo,
so I
Britt,
go
handle
and I
this.
like put the sign on the door
Yeah.
so no one uses it, right? At the end of the day, my day is done at 8. I want to go home. I'm cleaning up the office, make sure it's good. Now I got to deal with a clogged ass toilet.
Right.
That's nasty. like that's the other side that people don't see.
know. They don't
That
see.
is nasty. So
Right.
then I had to call because I'm like, it's getting backed up regularly. Like, what the fuck's happening?
Right.
Like, now I can't have to sign up forever because now I'm have an issue with the public health department.
Right.
Because now I got to work in toilet.
No,
like,
shit.
came out, sewer line messed. Like, I had to dig up my parking lot
Yeah.
and get a whole sewer line replaced. That was 30K. Like,
Yo, man.
This is the
I'm
other
just, I'm just
side.
adding up the expenses, man. This
so again, like I said, I was just about to see a little something,
and then
and then COVID wanted to come, and we starting over. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
right. I was gonna say you seem like you still love.
Yeah.
The midst of all this, like you're in it and you love
For
it.
some reason, I thrive off shit. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think
I
that's
always talk to my therapist about it.
Look, man, I ain't a therapist, but I think that's great because bad things are going to happen.
Yes. Now, trust me, I have moments where I fucking freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, they happen. Like, don't get that messed up.
Right.
They happen.
You're
where
like, oh
I'm
shit, I don't know what to do.
stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, fuck all this.
Right,
like,
right.
Mind you, I want to quit regularly. like, I would like to quit regularly.
Right.
But it's a moment. I go through my moment.
And
and
you
then
back at it.
And then I'm back at it. But, like, that's the other side of the thing that people don't see is that, like, there's so much that comes with owning something. Like,
Yeah.
I replaced the whole HVAC system in that first building. Like, had to get security up and running because, we are, a public place and I'm in Hartford, which is great. But, like,
We know.
I'm in Hartford.
Yeah.
Like,
We know what that comes with too.
right, so it's I think this is the first year that I haven't had to do anything on the building, which is great.
Right.
I purchased the second building, which I purchased that in the mix of COVID, which was wild, which was also to me like, this is God's plan.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna, like, he told me I needed another building.
So,
I went and did what I need to get. I thought it wasn't gonna happen because of COVID, and he was
Right.
like, "No, bitch, here's this
There
other
you go.
building."
Yep.
Like, so now, like, so I had another building. So like, again, like, I've gone through a lot of stuff, but I'm completely grateful for it all. Like, I wouldn't change any of it. I think, thinking about everything I go through now has made me like rethink the game plan. I want to hustle even harder. Like, I
Okay.
want to do it in a way that like I can really truly enjoy it, because I don't think I've enjoyed it yet.
Right.
So that's another reason behind the transition, the shift, that like I really need to be in this managing role of my businesses so that I can actually enjoy life too.
Yeah.
And honestly, with therapy, I've done my time. Like I've been
Yeah, you put the
doing
work in.
therapy, working in the field literally since 2010.
Over a decade.
Yeah, like it don't seem long to people, but dealing with people's problems,
That's
that is
a
very, very
yeah,
long.
for sure.
Like very, very long.
For sure. All and then you told me you had 50 clients in a week one time. So
Yeah, I
I
was
can only
working through Monday
imagine.
through Saturday. Like the first 3 years, Monday through Saturday, I had clients. And then I got to a point where I was doing Monday through Friday, and I've slowly been like chopping it down because that's just where I'm at, and I need
Right.
to do, the more staff that I hire, the more I need to be available and make sure they're good. I will say that during COVID, like again, we took a step back, and I kind of like it affected me too. Like keeping people don't realize like during COVID, the amount of work and energy and effort a therapist had to put into keeping people off the edge was intense.
I can only imagine.
Was intense.
And you going through your stuff too. You went through
Right.
COVID too.
So that all, adds to why I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to make a change and switch things up, because I don't got that part no more.
Right.
Like that was like I've dealt with a lot of difficult cases, but like the amount of clients that I had to literally keep off the edge because of COVID, and how that, being locked in the house and not having an outlet and to get out for people just messed people up so badly, and dealing with that and the loneliness and depression, dealing with, relationship and family stuff, and again, we go through our own stuff too. So,
Right.
stuff that I hear from clients sometimes triggers the fuck out of me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and then I got to go talk to my therapist.
Damn.
Like, so that was a lot. That was extremely heavy. Like, extremely heavy. I mean, even now, it's not like our, economy is even any better.
It's getting
So,
worse.
right. So, mind you, think about it. That's the stuff that's coming to therapy.
Right.
And that stuff, financial stuff, no matter how people spin it, affects people's relationships with themselves and everyone else around them.
It's true.
So then that, adds to, if there was already, issues between, relationships you got, now that adds an extra layer. And people out here acting crazy.
Right.
Like, are not thinking through stuff, are being very impulsive, are nuts.
Right.
Which, this is the life we're in right now, but like, I can't be a good therapist for you if like I'm drained, then I'm drained. So I'm switching it up.
Right.
But yeah, like, business, the business side of stuff is crazy. Like it's nuts. Like,
It sounds like a roller
Own
coaster.
another building. Like, so I'm trying to get the second half of the year right. So my goal is to have a property a year, buy a property a year.
Yeah, that's a fair goal. I was gonna ask you what your goal was too.
A property a year.
So
So I'm hoping to get back in the swing of things for next year.
So yeah, we're gonna. So you've been keeping that up, right? So how many? I don't know if you want to disclose it, but you could if you want. How many properties do you have?
I have 2 commercial, 2 residential.
Okay.
One of the residentials I currently live in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
I was on a roll. Of
And then
one a year.
we're not gonna count COVID. COVID, that's hard to do because my goal was a property every year. I found one in COVID, but then this year I just I just threw in the towel. I said,
Yeah.
look, we'll start.
No. So yeah, no. So I'm trying to rebuild and, like I said, do things the right way so I can get back to that goal of, buying properties. There's other stuff that I want to do in the realms of the therapy aspect of things. So like I said, not only managing my practice, but like I want to provide trainings. I want to do more. I would love to teach, be
Okay.
an adjunct, professor somewhere.
Okay.
I would love to do that.
You just love people.
So I would love to do that, just in the sense of like I've worked with a lot of therapists, I've worked with a lot of interns, and I feel like I can be a great support to them.
Right.
And it's funny because there's a lot of information that, and I don't know why in our profession there isn't a class on this before people graduate of like what real life looks like once you got this degree.
Yeah.
But I get questions about that all the time. So I'm like, I would love to do like an elective on that or some type of course on that or whatever. Podcast has been floating around, a therapy podcast.
Yeah.
That will, address the fads and
Please do it, please.
the issues with that. I've been approached about business coaching, even though again I say I don't know everything.
Right.
I've been approached
You,
about
you don't want to talk to
startup
people, right?
businesses.
You don't like doing these things, but you're doing all the things that kind of get you out your shell. I think that's why you're.
So I think that's why I'm being pushed in that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being pushed in that direction, and I can't really avoid it anymore.
Right.
Um, yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
advice do you have for people that are, they're trying to start a business, they're working a job, they don't know what to do, they don't have a plan, but like, they hear your story and they're like, wow, I like what she's doing. How do I get there?
I think you just have to start, and everything doesn't have to be figured out. Like again, I don't have everything figured out.
Right.
Full disclosure, last year it just kind of wrapped up in January this year, but all of 2020 and 21, I went through my first insurance audit for the practice.
Okay.
Worst experience ever. Something that can truly break you and could put a therapist in the position of saying like, I don't want to do this no more, I'm gonna close up shop type of thing.
Wow.
The way that these insurances are set up is they don't care about people. It's just a money situation. So that wrapped up January of this year. That was a crazy experience.
Wow.
I plan to share that the second half of this year, and kind of position myself in a little bit of like a audit consultant, because I've been through that whole process.
Right.
Which you don't learn about it unless you go through it.
Right.
They're in a process of, they're going to do it a lot to people. Like they're targeting. I know a lot of other, black professionals that have gone through this, that have unfortunately had to close up shop. And I don't see it fair at all. But, I'm one of those people where, that comes knocking up my door, you're not about to shut me up. I spent a little extra money on hiring my team to make sure we handle this and do this and whatnot. And of course, throughout that process, I learned every little thing. I've asked questions about it. So, I'm gonna share this information.
Right.
Not for free, but I'm gonna share the information.
The game can't be told for free, huh?
That was a crazy situation. So I had to deal with that on top of, again, dealing with clients, dealing with my own stuff,
Right.
dealing with, death in families and how that affects people, dealing with grandparents that have Alzheimer's and getting them into a home,
Right.
dealing with, just being in COVID, and like in Connecticut, it's just me and my grandma.
Right.
Like none of my family is
That's
here.
it. That's all that's left.
So when stuff is shut down, I can't go to my parents. I can't go to my siblings. I can't,
Right.
So that took a toll on me too. Just, feeling completely like isolated.
Yeah.
So just a lot of different things. So, when people are getting started with business, if it's something you truly care about, start it. Started understanding that, it might not work out, or it might not work out the way you wanted it to work out. You have to be very, very flexible. Have to be able to, adapt. There's always going to be a problem.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, nothing is figured out.
Right.
I don't care. Like, I follow, a bunch of, these millionaires, these people, a lot of no-name people that make money. I follow them too, because I think it's important to, when you're in a place of growth, especially in business, you need to be around more like-minded people. And
Absolutely.
so like they don't have shit figured out. They're still like going day to day. So I think it's important to know that things are not going to be figured out. When you feel like something is figured out, some shit's going to hit you and rock your world, and you got to go with it. You have to go with it, and it just kind of is what it is. Don't let anybody talk you out of what you want to do.
Right.
People will downplay stuff all the time. Oh, I don't think you should do this right now. Oh, I don't think you should leave your job, and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Don't let people talk you out of what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Like if you're poured that way, go after and do it. But have a plan.
Right.
It doesn't need to be a kind of complete detailed plan. Have a plan, work towards it consistently. Like my first day, at the private practice, I had an office.
Yeah.
I had a space. I got dressed, I got breakfast, I went there and I sat in that damn office and made a to-do list, and I needed to do something every day to work towards this plan
Yeah.
to get to, where I am now. So you constantly have to be doing something for your plan to work. I am learning that breaks are okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, like, I come from, like, a family of just hard workers and people just doing stuff. My dad's retired and still needs shit to do.
So he's not really retired, but
He's still finding stuff
Right.
to do, like, which is why he comes to here to help me whenever he needs something to do.
right. Keeps you alive, man.
I need stuff to do.
Right.
When I give myself time off, I get antsy.
Right.
I'm learning how to rest in that time off because, like, I'm not my best self when I'm tired.
Yeah.
And ideas are coming a mile a minute. Every idea doesn't need to be a business. I have ideas all the day.
Right. Your
All day.
mind is like
of how to make money. Everything isn't a business.
right.
You gotta everything's not a business.
Right.
Everything you don't need to make money off of. I feel like people get so stuck in, like, how do I make money off of this and that.
Right.
That takes away from it. I feel like if you're passionate about something, the money will come.
That's what this is.
See?
She hit it. I had to cut you off. Because that's what it is. Everything she said is this platform. Had to cut you off. Like, literally.
Literally.
I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, you are a celebrity.
No. Tucker, you see this? No. I'm not a
I'm
celebrity.
just saying.
Listen.
You've been on news.
Oh,
You've
gosh.
been, like,
Listen,
featured in other
But still, it's no
like,
money. It's no money. It's
Not right now.
education. It's Yo, what
There's
I'm
no
doing.
money right now.
Fair.
There's no money right now.
Fair.
Don't limit yourself. There's no money
Oh,
right
yeah, no, you're
now.
right. You're right. You're right.
You're in the start of it. You're going to keep doing this because you're passionate about it. Revenue will come with it.
Yeah. And that's why, like you said, right? Eventually it'll come, but, like, I'm glad I got you on this platform because you said it, man. You don't have the answer. You just learn as you go, and that's...
And I make mistakes.
Right.
And I feel like the biggest lessons come from those mistakes. So, like, when I lost 30K on the first building,
That is like...
you know what I could have did with that 30K? And
listen.
honestly, it was probably more than that. But you know what I could have did with that?
I can only imagine.
And then had to turn around and put more money down on another building
Yeah.
and then spend more money on that. Oh, the second building I got right. So by the time I got to the third one,
Right.
we good to go.
Damn.
And still getting better
Right.
with it. To the point where the other day I was like, maybe I should get my real estate license to cut out the middleman. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's how you
like
roll.
if I can find time to do this, let me bang this out so I can cut out the middleman because no one got time. But, like, you learn from the things that don't work out. So you have to be, people hate it, but open to failure.
Yeah.
Open to failure. I've done a lot of reflection in the last year that I am not the owner of my practice that I want to be,
Oh.
which is, again, the reason for a transition too.
Right. So you're working towards that.
Yeah. Like, there's so much more, like I said, I can give to the practice, give to my staff, just in terms of, what I want. I want, my neurotherapists to come work for a place that they feel like they can be truly themselves and still get the support.
Right.
And make some coin too.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Because
and,
you need that. You
Yeah.
need that.
I want to be a better business owner, not only for Power of Choices, but, I want to be a better landlord. Like, I want to be able to, especially with the commercial side of things, I would love to at some point start my own property management business.
Right.
To be able to hire, especially hiring these young, recent high school students, high school juniors and seniors, and our kids need something to do.
Absolutely.
The stuff that's been happening left and right, it don't sit right with me. But they need something to do.
Right.
They don't have nothing to do. So if they can be put in a situation where because who doesn't love to make some money, right?
Yeah.
Especially these little entitled kids.
Right.
Who doesn't love to make some money? But if we can put them in a position where they are making some money, but also learning life skills, I want to be able to do that too. So,
Wow.
like, I have, bigger goals for, like, so it's not just to set me up, but it's to set everybody else up that comes along with me. So, like, people want to start a business, just start. Just start. Be open to the failures, the mistakes, whatever you want to call it, because that is going to, define you. That is going to push you harder. Shit's hard work.
Yeah.
Shit's hard work. Like, at the end of the day, it is not easy. As much as they glamorize this lifestyle of being an entrepreneur, and I can
Right.
take trips, but you can't take trips. I ain't took a trip. like, when's the last time I took a trip?
Damn.
Like, it don't work like that.
Right.
like,
Right.
it does not work
You
like
giving the real,
that.
man.
Like, it does not work like that. You have to schedule time off. When you work for yourself, there is no sick pay. There is no vacation pay. Like, I have to hustle and probably work double the 2 weeks before I want to go on vacation to make sure I'm good. When I'm not working and seeing clients, ain't no money coming in. Like, and bills still have to get paid.
And you pay your own health insurance?
Yes.
How's that?
Well, technically this year I don't have health insurance because realistically that's a scam.
Uh-oh. Because, that be people's, like,
Their biggest worry is, like, if I start my own business and quit my job, I
and
don't
I
have
get
health
sick.
insurance.
Yeah, what if I get
Let
sick?
me let y'all know something.
Go ahead.
Quit your job, get Husky for the year or however long you can milk it for. Then at the point where you have to pay your own insurance, it's the same you would have paid with a job because it's coming out of your
Yeah, they're
check
taking it
anyway,
out.
but it's just coming from you.
Right.
Realistically, the tax amount that you pay at the end of the year for not having insurance is cheaper than paying the premium you would pay monthly when you don't really use it. But the other part about that is get off your ass and do stuff to make sure you're healthy. Then you won't have so many
Right.
health bills. Like, I pay out of pocket for my annual exams. It's actually cheap. It's actually pretty cheap.
Cheap to you, Brittany, might be not cheap to others.
But with that being said, people don't find getting their hair done,
Ooh,
buying
some
sneakers,
buying
taking
bags,
trips, this and this,
G-Wagons.
like that expensive. Where, like, you know, realistically, I think I paid like $130 for an annual physical exam.
Oh.
It's not as expensive as people think. They give you self-pay discounts. People don't know that. I know because I've been doing it.
Right.
But they give you self-pay discounts. But, like, you got to prioritize. Like, so for me, I don't have health insurance. So that means I need to be eating good. I need to be exercising. I'm taking my vitamins. Like, I'm very much, like, I'm pescatarian. So, like, you know, I take my, you know, sea moss capsules and I, like, you know, I got to get a little bit more physical than what I've been doing. But, like, you got to make certain things a priority when you cut out other things.
Right.
Like, realistically, like, unless you have, like, severe, you know, health issues going on, what you going to the doctor for? Your
But
physical?
Brittany, you don't have kids. What about me? I have 3 kids. What am I supposed to do?
So with every insurance, they have a self-plan option that is literally not different from what your job, which was coming out of your check.
Got you.
It's literally
Same
not.
thing.
It's the same thing. The only difference is you have to pay it versus it just automatically
Right.
coming out
You
of your
got
check.
to be more responsible.
Yes, that's
Got
it. It's a in line of the other bills that you already had.
Right.
Pretty much it. And for people who have, like, so it's different. Like, okay, I don't have kids yet. They're coming. They're coming. I know they're coming in a time frame that, you know, I'm working out some stuff right now.
Right.
Like, working out some stuff right now. I know God is going to give it to me at the time that it's supposed to happen. So, you know, I'm going through a transition. I feel good about this transition. Like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about it. So I know that is the next thing to come because for me, that's like the ultimate blessing for me.
Right.
Doing all this that I'm doing is to be able to be a mom. But, like, at that point, I'm just gonna pay the insurance. Like,
Right.
are you just not gonna pay the
Right.
insurance?
Right. You got to do
Like,
what you got to do.
you're gonna do what you need to
Right.
do. Like, so it's
Happiness or pay insurance?
right. Health or
Health
pay
or
insurance.
pay insurance?
Like,
yeah.
it's
no-brainer.
you're gonna figure
You're
it
gonna
out.
pay,
Like, it's
yeah.
not that serious.
Right.
Like, but I do. A lot of people get hung up
They
on
do.
that fact of things. But anyone that has, you know, worked with me and they're like, you know, I want to start my own business. Okay, go ahead and milk the state. Like, do what you need to do. Everyone does it. Like, it sounds crazy to say it.
Yeah.
But you quit your job. Now you're unemployed. You're starting a business. You're not sure what the revenue is going to be. You're going to get on Husky until they kick you off. I was on Husky until they kicked me off.
There you go.
like,
No shame.
like, no shame.
Look, man.
Like, how many clients I've worked with that milk the system that don't need to be on the system? Like,
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
a whole...
We won't speak on that.
Right. So it's like, you know, just start your business if you want to do it. And there's nothing wrong with starting the business and still keeping your full-time job.
Right.
Just understand you're still making
I'm glad you
sacrifices.
said that. I'm glad you said that.
Still making sacrifices, it's still a hustle no matter work. So you can work your 9 to 5 and then do your other job from this time to this time. Do your business from this time to this time. And at some point it may switch.
Right.
It may flip-flop for you. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Right.
I take contract jobs all the time.
There we go.
I take contract jobs all the time.
Yeah.
Technically, Right now, I'm a clinical director of an outpatient clinic.
Oh,
So
so
I
you're
get
working.
I get a W-2 too.
Yeah, you're working.
It's working for the time being.
Yeah.
I did that because it's also opening up the doors and made connections for me that I can utilize for my private practice as well. And it wasn't an additional stress for me.
Right.
I'm literally managing, which is the same thing. It's like, so
Yep.
a bag is a bag.
There
Like,
you
and
go.
the way that I work that out, again, it's a contract. So the way that I worked it out is it works in my favor too. So when
Right.
I'm done with it, I'm done with it. But like, if it makes sense, I'm gonna take it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Not about
opposed
right.
to whatever. So, and I think people have to know that. Like, you can start a business, like I said, and work a full-time job. Then get to a point where you get rid of the full-time job and just do the business. Then get to the point where you're doing the business, but you take on some contract job. Like, it just depends on where you are in your life right now and what works for you, and that is okay. Just because I have this contract job too doesn't mean I'm not an entrepreneur.
Right.
I actually am, because I'm doing
Exactly. You could be both.
multiple things, and it's fine. So you literally have to do what's best for you, and just go for it. What greater time than now than to just go for it?
Wow.
Like, just go for it.
Wow. I respect the hell out of you, man. I'm
You got
happy.
any other questions? Because I be feeling like you was
Nah,
gonna,
look,
like,
man, look, man.
hit
if
me
you,
with some stuff, and I was gonna
nah,
say, you know
look,
what?
man, look, man. You covered a lot. I think people gonna hear this and they're gonna be like, "Yo, Britt, there's a lot that comes with you, man." And this is not the last
Yeah.
time, because when you start your podcast, I would hope that
Yes.
I would be on it.
Yes.
I would hope I'm involved.
Yes.
You know. So
Yeah, I share, opportunities. I share the wealth, like,
yeah, nah, man, you get it done, man. I don't got no more questions, man. Look, I had
You
some, but
sure?
I'm
Like,
good. Like,
because you been hitting me later, like, dang.
yeah, I should have asked you to. Nah, I
But it's
mean,
okay. I'll come back.
yeah,
I'll
look,
come
man.
back if you got
Look,
some burning questions for me in terms of, like,
nah, you in a great. To me, you in a great space.
I am. It's being open and aware that, like, you have to take time for yourself and see where you are, and things change. So, again, the drive that I had in the beginning of my business is different now. Like, I want different things. I want to set up different things. Like, I understand the meaning of sacrifice.
Right.
To get to where I'm at, I understand that, like, I'm going to go through another phase of sacrifice in this transition of things.
Right.
But that has to happen. It has to happen for, whatever that ultimate goal is. That might change.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. I wouldn't change it. Like, I tell people all the time, I'm not going back to having to request vacation time.
Oh man.
To each their own. Like, again, I
Me
do
and
not knock
me and
anyone.
Tarquin over here like, man, forget her, man. Tarquin like,
Listen,
man.
I don't knock anyone who works a 9 to 5. I don't. One of my best friends is a fucking engineer. Like,
I've heard that one before. My best friend is black. I have issues with black.
she probably get more time off than me, to be honest.
Right.
Like, she be catching more flights than me.
I know.
Like,
I
so
know.
again, you just gotta figure out what is it you want and what works for you and what it looks like for you, and knowing that can change, and it's okay. Like, it's okay if it changes. Like, if I wanted to go back and get a job, I could go
You
back and get a
could. You
job.
always can.
You could the jobs ain't going nowhere.
Right. Actually,
can-
people need help.
Right.
I've been
you
seeing.
can, You can always do that. So you just gotta kind of figure out what works for you, and just roll with it. Like,
Man, when there's an update, man, let me know. I want you
will.
back for part 2.
I will.
I want to keep up,
Okay.
because it's motivating.
I got you. I'm trying to get some good updates.
Yeah, man. That was interesting, man. See, we good here, man. That was interesting, man.
There you have it. Another dope episode. Produced by your boy, shot by your boy, edited by your boy. We do it all here, man. The Instagram, everything. I'm running the whole show, man. So just show your boy some love, man. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and tune into next week, because it's gonna turn up. We got some good episodes coming to you soon, man. Peace.